Up next, we have Altos and Mike Simonson. Mike, are you with us?
I am.
Right. Let me do a quick introduction of the platform, and then the floor will be yours.
Great.
Altos Research is the premier resource for real-time real estate data, providing weekly market statistics, analysis, and reporting for 99% of the zip codes in the U.S., helping real estate professionals, investors, financial institutions, and their clients make better informed decisions. All right, Mike, the floor is yours.
All right. So Altos Research does market data, and it's a really interesting time to be thinking about the market, what's happening in the market. You might think about potential buyers and sellers that you're working with and think about how crazy hot the market was at the start of last year and how cold it shut down in the second half of last year. And now think about those buyers and sellers who are right now, who are trying to figure out what's happening right now. If they haven't been paying attention, or if they've just been paying attention to the headlines, they might think that the housing market is still frozen solid. And if you're actually in the business, in the market, doing loans and working with buyers and sellers in any way, you might realize that it's actually thawed up remarkably quickly after the new year. And so the power of market data is helping your clients know how to make good decisions right now. It helps them get beyond the fear of the headlines, the fear of wow, I can't buy now, I hear the market's crashing, or I can't sell now because there are no buyers, but in actuality, we can show them the data, and the data helps them get beyond the fear. I like to say there are only three questions that the consumer has in real estate. What's for sale? How much is my house worth? And how's the market? And if you think about how we approach consumers in real estate, what's for sale? These are IDX, and this is realtor.com. And if you think about the how much is my house worth question, that's, when a realtor goes in for the listing presentation, there's a CMA, there's a comparative market assessment right there. Here's how much your house is going to list for. This is a how much is my house worth question. This is the question that Zillow launched with 15, 16 years ago. How much is my house worth? The third question, though, how's the market, is the real power. And how's the market is all the other questions. These are all the other things that they're thinking about. Is now a good time? Do I have a lot of competition? Do I have to be aggressive in this offer? All of these questions these are how's the market questions. And that's what we get to answer with market data. That's how we get to take away the fear of the consumer in the data. And the way Altos does that is we do market reports. And let me share my screen here. I'm going to start here. And in our market reports, we look at every city and zip code in the country. These reports are branded for you, and we automatically build the data every week, put your brand on it, and put it in the hands of your prospects, your clients, your contacts. And if you are for loan officers, it's putting this report in the hands of your agents so that they can be the experts, so that they know that they're getting that resource from you, that developing that relationship with you, and then allowing them to be accelerate with their customers. So let's do a quick tour of Altos reports. This is for Woodstock, Georgia. Path and Post is a real estate brokerage in north of Atlanta. And they use Altos reports with their big database of clients, their past clients, to keep in touches over time with active clients who maybe want to see that data every week. While we have your house listed, we want to put this report in your inbox every Monday? Or while you're shopping, what do you need to know about homes in Woodstock, Georgia? There's a few things that you'll notice on every Altos report. One of the easy first things to look at is the market action index. The market action index is at a glance answering the question, how's the market? So I don't know anything about Woodstock, Georgia, but what I can tell you right now is that inventory is sufficiently tight and demand is sufficiently high that we are actually in a seller's market, even though a lot of people may think that the market stopped cold. Turns out in suburban Georgia, the inventory has stayed relatively tight. And especially after the new year, we have new buyers. And so those folks that's a message that buyers and sellers may not be aware of. And so we can say, keep your eye on this market action index. If this thing is ticking down while you have your house listed, that tells us that the buyers are weakening and the seller competition is increasing, and therefore that is a signal that the market is changing while we have your house listed. Or while you're shopping for your house, understand that if you want to buy a house, because we know it's slightly a seller's advantage, this is not a market where you lowball every offer and get the house you want. All of the data, we can see the trends over time, the median price, we can see the price per square foot and changes over time. We can see days on market has climbed since last year. But we can also see, for example, that inventory is falling in this time. So there's a lot of data, and all this data is fresh every week. I have the inventory chart up here for Woodstock. And if we were watching inventory trends last year, the last couple of years, the pandemic has ultra low inventory levels. In all of Woodstock is a fairly big town in suburban Atlanta, only 63 homes last year. Then in the spring, inventory climbed, and a lot of people noticed this. Hey, the market's slowing way down. What we've noticed is that since the fall, inventory is falling back down, back towards really close to the pandemic lows. There's not a lot of inventory. Back pre-pandemic, before the pandemic 3 years ago, you can see twice as many homes on the market in Woodstock at this time of year. It's a significant change. And so this is a message that buyers and sellers probably don't know. And this is why you want to help them with the market data every week. It's not headlines. It's not last month's data. It's what's in the market right now. Here's another thing you can do with the Altos data. And then I'm going to show you how the system works so that you actually follow up with the leads and interact with your clients over time. One of the things we do in the Altos report is every market we look at in 4 price range segments. The high end of the market may be behaving very differently from the low end. And so when I want to know how's the market, if I'm in this $800,000 range in Woodstock, it's 101 days on market. But if I'm under 500,000, I'm at 425. How's the market? It's very different, only 38 days. If I'm a buyer, and most of the buyers are happening here under 500,000 in Woodstock, you can see exactly where the action is. And so if a buyer is saying, well, hey, I noticed that the house down the street's been on the market for 3 months, and you say, yes, but in your price range, it's going in a month. That's a very different message. And so if you want to get this house, we need to make an offer now, and we need to make the right offer. And so you can very clearly see exactly what's happening. That's the data. In all of that, and that's a fast whirlwind tour of the Altos data. We have, for people interested, a free ebook that we've published at Altos that is how to use market data in your business. It allows you to look at these stats and know what they say. It gives you scripts for how do I present the data to my customers. So that free ebook, and we'll try to drop that. There's a link that we can drop in the chat. You can go to Altos Research and get the free ebook, How to Use Market Data in Your Business. One of the other things to keep in mind in your Altos market reports is that you have the opportunity to search. Your users have the opportunity to search. And when they search, and let's just search for Atlanta, for example. When I search, I can see Atlanta, I can see every zip code in Atlanta, and I can get a report that I want. When I open a report, I get presented with the lead form. And in the lead form, I'm going to do Mike, and now I can get any report that I wanted to go search for. When I register for that, now I'm a lead for Path and Post. So what times it happens is I'm a Path and Post client. I say, oh, my realtor, my broker, my mortgage broker sends me this report. Let me forward it to you. And I can forward it via email. I forward it to my cousin. Now my cousin searches for his neighborhood. My cousin converts, and he's now a lead in the database. So the lead conversion is built into the content so that you don't have to build extra websites, and it's not just a PDF, it's the actual lead conversion and lead nurture is built into the content. I'm going to switch to the back end of the system so you can see what's happening behind the scenes. In an Altos report, you have in an Altos system, your subscription, you have your reports, and the Path and Post folks have 67 different towns and zip codes they cover. And in this report tab, we can see the town, we can see how many people have been using it. If I click on it and look at Woodstock, I can see a few anonymous folks, but we can see Bruce is one of the clients who's been looking at it. I know now Bruce is looking at his Woodstock report. Maybe it's time to give him a call. If I'm a loan officer, I can send my reports to my agents so that I can let my agents use that and nurture my agents over time, my agent relationship. So I can have a distribution of my mortgage clients as well as my realtor clients and let them both use the data. There's a lot of these in here. On the other side, that beyond just the reports, we have the context. This is the contact database. Here's me. I just converted as a lead for Woodstock, Georgia. I'm a self sign up. And so now when I go back to that report, we'll see exactly how many times I've opened. I can organize this and I can see which of my clients are using the reports every week. I can see which ones they are looking at. And so now I know exactly who to contact. And I can do this again with my agents and with my loan clients. I have we have the reports, we have the contacts, and we have the email campaigns. We have email campaigns here, and Path and Post has one main email campaign set up. We can see that I'm sending it to 113 people. Over half of them open that email every week. That's a huge open rate on emails, on email marketing. It's because everybody wants to know how's the market. Like everybody needs to know right now. And so when Path and Post sends it out, 70% of those people are opening that email every week. It's really strong. What it allows me to do is I could build another report for my buyers and sellers. I could set another email campaign for my realtors and say, hey, because I work with you, I want all of the people I work with to be informed about the market. Here's a market report. Use the search box. Feel free to forward it on to your friends and colleagues. And you get an opportunity to be the lead nurture, touch over time. Market data is always fresh every week. It's always compelling. You can see why people want to see it because it changes every week. And especially right now, where everybody's afraid, is the market tanking from here? That's the kind of power that we get to communicate, and we get to be that expert in the data and put it into people's inboxes. That's really the essence of Altos Research. The question is, how's the market? And that's what Altos does with market data. We got a couple minutes for a few questions.
Yeah, this is great, Mike, and appreciate you actually getting into the platform and showing us live how this thing works. So one question from the audience was just walk us through the economics of this. What does this cost? I know there's different plugins, but like, what's the base price?
Base price is $79 a month, and that gives you 1,000 contacts. It's for 10 zip codes or cities. So, typical business, like a nice, you focus on a key area. It allows though you to automate your distribution, your emails to folks with those 10 areas. And if you want more, you can always add more. You work bigger areas, you can always add more, but that's the basic starter package.
And let's say I'm a team leader and I've got a bunch of realtors on my team. And let's say I don't want all the campaigns to come from me. I'd like to kind of share some of these leads and prospects with folks on my team. Can you walk through the functionality for that?
Yeah. So in this case, Path and Post has their one account, and they have in that account, they have their corporate branding, and they have the lead gen, the lead conversion and lead nurture. That lead database is for their one account. You can actually set up individual team members with their own branding and their own lead database, so they can import their own leads, they can nurture their own leads over time. And so we set up sub accounts, and they just, like, everybody, you can own it at the team leader level, and then give the accounts to each of the individuals under the team. So some teams manage it with one lead database, and some like to have their individual lead databases managed and branding for the individual people on the team.
And for those of us that are data geeks and want to understand how you're calculating that market action index, like how are you doing that? How are you coming up with that number?
That's a great question. It is this is a at a glance number for using supply versus demand. So it is, as supply is inventory, and as inventory climbs, it's that's obviously, that makes that number tick down. But if inventory is climbing and demand is climbing, and climbing faster, then that speedometer goes up. So there's some math involved. One of the interesting things about measuring demand in housing is that you can't measure demand just by sales rate, because we're in a supply constrained market. So more people would be buying houses if there were more for sale. So how do you measure demand? So we use a number of different factors that we can check. We can track over time, price reductions and things like that to really understand demand. And as those tick up, then that pushes that needle higher. And so it's a really easy at a glance. Somebody says, "Hey, I hear the market's tanking." You say, "Well, let's look." In Woodstock, it turns out it's actually a slight seller's advantage, because inventory is sufficiently tight for the current number of buyers. Now it's flat from last week, but last year, this market action index at the early part of the year was floored. It was really hot. And so that's come down. So it has more opportunity for buyers this year, but it's not like, the vulture gets to swoop in and get the crazy, bargain deal. And that's what that tells us.
Well, this has been great, Mike. Thanks so much for jumping in and doing a live demo. That can be dicey in real time, but I think you really pulled it off, and I think our audience appreciated it. So I'll send it back to Jennifer for our next and final presentation for the day.